Hello guys, Chris here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing a GeForce RTX 4080 in Cyberpunk 2077 version 2.0 with DLSS 3.5 and Ray Reconstruction. We're gonna be taking a look at the graphics and stuff. It's gonna be fun. This one is the Founders Edition model of the card. We are running it with the latest NVIDIA drivers as usual, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power-Ups. GPU 0 resizable bar is also enabled, and over on the left, we're pairing it with the i5-13600K, overclocked to 5.5 GHz and 32 GB of DDR5 6000 MHz RAM in dual channel. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's go over the settings first. I'm starting at 4K resolution using the Ray Tracing Overdrive settings, which are extremely intensive. This enables DLSS Super Resolution by default, as well as Ray Reconstruction right here, but I will disable DLSS for the time being, just to take a look at the image without it. I'm also going to use 100 FOV, disable film grain as well as motion blur, so we can appreciate those graphics, you know, without any grainy images, and everything else I'll leave as is. Finally, on the gameplay tab, you can't really find the crowd density setting anymore, and the HDD mode is set to auto. I actually have it installed on the SSD. Let's go now. Also, just to note, the Ray Reconstruction is only working at the moment with Ray Tracing Overdrive, not with Ultra. As you can see, this is grayed out at the moment, and Ray Tracing Medium as well, Ray Tracing Low. So yeah, we will only focus here in Overdrive in this video. Okay guys, here we have it. It's getting really low FPS. That's because, of course, of path tracing, which is super intensive, as I told you. It's like a technology preview as well, so yeah, no wonder it performs like crap on pretty much everything. The reflections are looking pretty alright here, you know, not amazing. Ray Reconstruction will come in handy for that, because of the denoiser, you know, that they use. And over here we can see Jack. Hello Jack, how's it going? It's completely unplayable basically, but I just wanted to take a look at the reflections, okay, at native resolution. Now these are looking pretty good and detailed at native res. Of course, while we were moving, the reflections on the car weren't really as detailed. They were kind of blocky sometimes, and that's where this new implementation of DLSS will come in handy. Also, VRAM usage is already almost maxed out. Jesus. Anyway, let's enable DLSS Super Resolution on quality and disable the Ray Reconstruction first. It actually enabled itself again. Okay, there we go. And as you can see now, with DLSS set to quality, the reflections are a bit blurrier for sure. Still okay, you know, I'm fine with those. But yeah, they're not as detailed, of course, as native resolution, because at native resolution the reflections were already not running at like the full native res, otherwise it would get like 2 FPS, you know. And now with DLSS on top of it, the reflections themselves are running at a really low res. Thankfully though, the VRAM usage went down, FPS are now at 30, of course it's still inside of this tunnel, you know, so it's not really that intensive. But anyways, this is what we've been used to seeing so far. You can see that the car right now looks a little bit more blocky, and the reflections as well on it. It's not amazing, you know, but it's passable because it's still quality DLSS and it's still 4K. But the problem with ray tracing that I've seen in a lot of titles is that whenever you enable that DLSS to improve FPS, which is very needed of course, you end up with an image that's just super blocky and very low resolution, and I just didn't like it. I would prefer to disable ray tracing completely and play without it, with more FPS and no blocky reflections. But now guys, it's time for our savior. Just take a look at those reflections. Those are really blurry actually at the moment with quality DLSS and sharpness set to 50. I'm gonna enable the Ray Reconstruction setting. This is what DLSS 3.5 is all about, guys, and it makes a freaking huge difference. Just look at that! Look at that! That's insane. Now, there is a little bit of a bug here. It's not because of Ray Reconstruction, it's actually the game itself. Even without any DLSS, it does this. And that bug is, whenever you're moving your camera from down to the top, it actually has a few frames right there. Oh, yep, see that? It changes a little bit. Of course, if you're doing it fast, it's not really too noticeable. But yeah, I just noticed that it's something that NVIDIA is already aware of, and they already contacted CD Projekt Red to fix that. But look at this, guys. It is really detailed, and the FPS are basically the same as well. You know, we don't lose any performance and we get way better reflections. Let's just see it outside of here again. Okay, see the reflections on top of the car and stuff. Remember that they were pretty blocky? They're not anymore. This new denoiser is amazing. The lights reflecting off of the car are now really high quality. This is what I've been waiting for since forever. This might actually look a little bit better than native resolution. Stop it! What the hell? I'm trying to go left. This guy won't let me. Oh boy. Okay. But look at this. There is no blockiness, almost. And it actually looks fantastic, guys. I'm just gonna get out of the car and see the windows of a car are this one. This one's pretty reflective as well. Look at that. Pretty amazing stuff, and if you disabled the Ray Reconstruction, it wouldn't look like that at all. Now, I just loaded another game save. This car seems to be more reflective, you know, it's better to see the differences in quality here. And of course, you're watching this on YouTube, so it's not gonna be that apparent, but believe me, Ray Reconstruction does make a huge difference here, okay? But it's still not really that playable, I would say, with 30-ish frames per second. We gotta kill Bob, by the way, I totally forgot about that. But yeah, hello Jack, once again, looking beautiful on that wall, as usual. And I'm gonna stop it right here again, so we can take a look at the reflections again, but now with frame generation enabled, because that's what's gonna improve our FPS like crazy here at this resolution and these settings with overdrive. So I set the DLSS to quality, frame generation is now enabled, as well as Ray Reconstruction, and look at that. It still looks better than like quality DLSS at 4K, I believe. It definitely does look a little bit softer and not as detailed, you know, as the reflections without frame generation, but now we're close to 60 frames per second with full-on path tracing enabled with the RTX 4080. You actually need the 4090 if you want 60 pluses all of the time, like this, maybe with balanced DLSS instead of quality as well. But yeah, over here, they're a little bit softer, yes, but if I disabled Ray Reconstruction with frame generation, guys, which I'm gonna do right now, look at that. They are way softer, actually. See the difference? I'm gonna do it again. Enable Ray Reconstruction. Here we go. I guess with frame generation enabled, you can't really see that big of a difference, but whenever the car is moving, you don't have the blocky reflections anymore from DLSS alone without Ray Reconstruction. So this is a win-win scenario, my friends. This technology, you should definitely enable it, okay? And goodbye, Bob! Okay, now that we're done with that bastard, I'm gonna reload my previous save with the other car, because this is a little bit later during the night, and look at the reflections right there. Again, a little bit blocky because of frame generation. It could look a little bit better, honestly, but hey, I am not complaining. They still look better than DLSS quality without Ray Reconstruction at 4K. But alright, that's it for DLSS quality. Let's test out some DLSS set to performance without frame generation and without Ray Reconstruction first. So this is essentially rendering the game at 1080p and upscaling it to 4K, and those reflections now on top of the car, I mean, even the car itself is super blurry, you know? You can definitely notice the quality degradation here by using performance DLSS and especially with the path tracing. Let's go down there and take a look at the reflections here, which should look very soft at the moment. Yeah, that is really soft, right? Of course, the game is now rendering at 1080p, and those reflections, man, yeah, that's no good. right? And it's still not getting very high FPS, you know? But enabling Ray Reconstruction with performance DLSS at 4K. Look at the freaking difference! Just look at that, guys! It now looks really good! I mean, I would go as far as say that this looks better than... Can you please stop moving in front of my reflections? What the heck? This looks better than DLSS quality did without any Ray Reconstruction. Because that was still very soft, you know? This has a little bit of a shimmery edge sometimes. I believe it could be down to the water, you know? We need to see it with frame generation enabled still because, of course... you know what? Anyway, we're back here, still using performance DLSS at 4K and Ray Reconstruction, and wow, the difference is huge at the moment, dude. Like, the reflections are knitted. I love it. It's very pretty. It's actually sharp as well. Here we go. Goodbye, Bob, once again. Oh boy, this is what I live for, my friends. Anyway, we're back here. Let's go ahead and enable that frame generation. Ray Reconstruction is still enabled. Look at that, guys. Performance DLSS at 4K with frame generation, and the reflections are looking like that. That is impressive, dude. And the FPS now are really good as well. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I want the motorcycle. Let's go, let's go. This is new, by the way, I think, like shooting things while you are on a vehicle. But yeah, now we're well above 60 frames per second. What the hell? They made me a homeless person. Oh boy, I need to go to the roundabout. That's all I want to do right now. Stop shooting at me. I only killed Bob, you know. Why are they shooting at me? Bob is an enemy to everyone. Oh my gosh, this car has wings. What the hell? Oh! Okay, well, it only has one wing now. There is a little bit of added input lag, of course, because of frame generation here. You can notice it. It's not like 60 FPS input lag. It's about like 40 FPS input lag at the moment. But hey, for a single-player title, I am not complaining, and those reflections still look really amazing. I'm gonna load the previous save again, guys. Yeah, here we go. This one is great. Look at the reflections again, guys. Really pretty stuff here. Damn. And now it is actually smooth. So this is probably how you should play if you have a 4080 at 4K resolution. And lastly, let's take a look at the reflections with frame generation, performance DLSS, and no Ray Reconstruction to see how much of a difference that makes at this res. Look at that. It is night and day once again. That's pretty terrible. You can't even see the words there on the white screen, you know. This is why I say that this will change ray tracing forever, my friends. DLSS Ray Reconstruction again, and there we have it. Whoa. That is absolutely crazy. Alright guys, next up I want to try this out at 1440p resolution. Let's set it to Ray Tracing Overdrive again. Disable frame generation. Disable Ray Reconstruction. Set it to native resolution first. And just make a little bit of a comparison. I also need to disable the motion blur as well as film grain right here. And let's take a look. See that? That's actually worse than it was at 4K with DLSS frame generation enabled and performance and no RR, of course. Like, what the hell, dude? I didn't think that at 1440p this would look this bad, honestly. Yeah, that looks super soft, not detailed whatsoever. So let's enable DLSS on quality now, disable Ray Reconstruction, and see again, that's even worse, obviously. Now the resolution is going down. FPS are pretty good though, at 60s now, so that should be pretty smooth and responsive at the moment. But yeah, that looks insanely terrible, right? I really thought it wouldn't look this bad at 1440p. What the hell, dude? And now let's go ahead and enable that Ray Reconstruction, guys. It will make a huge difference. Look at that. FPS are basically the same, if not slightly higher at the moment. and now we can actually read things. Well, if you can read things upside down, that is. But yeah, you can make out the letters there absolutely fine. It looks really similar now to what we saw at 4K with frame generation enabled and performance DLSS, but now this is, of course, 1440p. It makes a huge difference. And a little bit of noise right there if I move. You know, not sure what that's about. All right, let's drive around for a little bit, start counting our FPS. I haven't really been doing that, but this is more of a visuals showcase than anything else in this video. Of course, it's interesting to see performance, but hey, I'm just really impressed with the technology and I want to share it with you guys. And it's getting 60s, you know, you could actually play like this and have a decent experience. Obviously, I would expect it to run a lot better with a 4080 because it's such an expensive GPU. And for it to run a lot better, all you need to do is enable that frame generation, of course. Quality DLSS again, there we go. Yeah, this still looks really good on top of the car, reflections and everything, yeah. And now we're up into the 100s. But again, remember, this is path tracing, so it's super, super, super demanding. And even the 4090 gets down on its knees because of it. You got eyes? I do have eyes, Bob. That's why I killed you. Now, of course, these reflections don't look as good as without frame generation, but they still look really good. You can make out a lot of the details there. I mean, even on the panel itself, I can't really make out the letters very well, so I would say that the reflection is pretty accurate. That is sick, guys. With frame generation enabled. And just for fun, we need to check this out. We need to check it out without Ray Reconstruction, with frame generation as well. That's not too bad, actually. But over here, it is. It is. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. At an angle, it's just terrible, guys. Holy crap. Look at that. Look at that huge difference. Again, Ray Reconstruction. Night and day. Once again, it's night and day, my friends. And lastly, I kind of want to take a look at 1080p and performance DLSS with frame generation and without this first. That is terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's so much smoother though. But it is really, really bad. Whoa! Let's enable the Ray Reconstruction. This is kind of worst case scenario, obviously. Whoa, that's sick. That's insane, dude. You can actually read things now. Whereas without this enabled, it is so blurry. It's just a blurry mess. I'm gonna enable it again and enable like quality DLSS on top of it with frame generation. And let's have that high refresh rate experience here now in Cyberpunk and see how the reflections look on top of the car at the moment. Previously on quality DLSS and 1080p without Ray Reconstruction and especially with frame generation enabled as well, reflections were really blocky, they were really terrible, very, very soft as well at the same time, and now we got some pretty decent reflections even at 1080p with all of those upscaling technologies in place and AI upscaling as well. That is amazing, my friends. And that's been it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at DLSS 3.5 in real time, you know. I'm also going to be making more videos with DLSS 3.5, focusing more on the performance side of things than the visuals. This one was just the introduction to it. That's why I focused more in showing you guys the differences between DLSS Ray Reconstruction on and off. But yeah. Stay tuned in for some performance testing here in Cyberpunk 2.0, and I'll catch you in the next one very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.